If you don't see a number, that means I'm looking for twins. Whenever you do see a number, that tells you how many I'm looking for. Now, you're only going to do twins and triplets. In other classes, we do twins, triplets, quadruplets, quintuplets, but no, we're just going to do twins and triplets. That's all you got to worry about. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to build a cake. When you're building your cake, you're only using 2, 3, 5, 7. I don't even think you have to go any higher than that. As a matter of fact, for today's example, you're only using 2 and 3. So let's start off with the 12. Let's build a cake. Divided by 2. So 2 goes into 12 6 times. 2 goes into 6 3 times. Now I got to switch to 3. And that goes into it 1 time. Your goal is to get the 1. The 1 is the birthday candle. And then I have 3 X's. And I have 6 Y's. All right, so now I'm ready to start circling my twins. 1 set of twin 2's that can come out. 1 set of twin X's that can come out. 1, 2, 3 sets of triplets Y's. And then when I make my square root, underneath I'm putting what didn't have a twin. And that would just be a 3 and an X. That's what's left over. That is my answer. Any questions? As we get ready for the final. All right, now let's look at the second example. We're looking for triplets. So I'm going to make my cake with 16 divided by 2. 2 goes into 16 8 times. 2 goes into 8 4 times. 2 goes into 4 2 times. And 2 goes into 2 1 time. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, so now let's circle our triplets. So I have a set of triplet 2's that can come out. Show me with your fingers how many sets of triplets do I have in A with the A's. Yep, just 1. Show me with your fingers. What about the B's? How many sets of triplets? 2. So that would be B squared. All right, so now I'm going to make my hood. Don't forget to put the little bitty baby 3 in the elbow. All right, who doesn't have a triplet? A 2, an A, and 2 B's. That's what's left out. Does that make sense? Because I'm only about 60% awake, and I want to make sure. So, okay. All right. So we got a 2, an A, and a B squared. That's the answer I'm looking for when you take your final. Any questions about our bell work? Was anybody absent yesterday?
I have a question.
Yes.
Why did you win A?
That's what happened? Because there was 1 set of triplets and then there was 1 left over. Yeah. No, good question. So I felt sorry for first and second period. My brain was like, I'm waking up slowly, but I'm still really sleepy. All right. Is there anybody absent yesterday? So we all got the definitions? Okay, so Bear Kid, you can go ahead and take a picture of these definitions. Oops, hold on 1 second. And these are page 9. Here, let me zoom in so y'all can get a good picture. So you can fill those in later. Now, I am going to talk about the notations of probability. Okay. So, first of all, the capital P means probability. Okay. Whatever is inside the parentheses, that's the event I'm looking for. So this means the probability that A happens. This means the probability that B happens. When you see a little squiggle in the front, that means the probability that A does not happen. That's what that little squiggle stands for. Now, this is the one that's a little tricky. The A, these two, because these look similar to each other. Okay, but if it's up like a cup, that means or. So does everyone notice how this one is up and this one is pointing down? If it's facing up, that means or. Now, when we are calculating an or, I'm actually going to write this formula at the very top. And I'm going to make sure we got room. So A or B, here's the formula. This is the only one that has a formula. You have to add A, then you have to add B, and then you subtract from that A and B. So again, this is the only one that has a formula. Everything else straightforward. Now, if it's facing down, I remember that because, country people, we don't say and, we say in, like I got ice cream in cake sounds like in. So in, this looks like an in and it means and. That's how you can kind of remember the difference between the up like a cup and the down like a frown. Up like a cup is or. This is upside down, looks like a lowercase n, that means and. And the last two, these are the only two that's not out of the total. It's only out of how many comes after the fraction sign. So here, think of this as a fraction sign. Whatever comes after the fraction sign is your denominator. So for this one, that means that is going to be my denominator. And then here, A is my denominator. And as we start working with it through the table, you'll kind of see that it's really not that bad. Any questions? So let's go to the top. What is probability? Probability is the likelihood that something happens. That's what probability is. If you listen to the weather report, they'll say, oh, the probability of rain tomorrow is 40%. That's the likelihood that something happens. Now, in order to find it, you would take favorable over total. So let's talk about a simple coin. How many total sides does a coin have? How many sides are on a coin? Total. How many sides are on a coin? 2. Of those 2 sides, how many of them are heads? 1. So the probability, so you would say probability of heads is 1/2. That's your probability. All right, now let's look at this spinner. So we says this spinner has 5 equal sections. So let's go ahead and label these. So one has an A, one has a B, one has a C, one has a B, one has an A. What this is asking you is, if you were, you know what I mean by spinner, you like flick the thing and you see where it lands on. So if I were to flick the little arrow, what is the probability that it would stop on the letter B? So the probability of it stopping on the letter B is how many places on the spinner has the letter B? Show me with your fingers. How many places on the spinner has the letter B? 2. Because we have a B here and here. So that would be 2. And then how many spots are on the spinner altogether? 5. So the probability would be 2 over 5. Now it wants us to write our answer as a decimal though. So pick up your calculator. Divide 2 by 5. Now, can everybody look at me real quick? So, does everybody see this calculator? Right above the enter key, do you see that button that has the 2 triangles that go left and right? Does everybody see that button right here? It's right above enter. If you want to convert something to a decimal, that's the button you hit. So if you type in 2 divided by 5, more than likely, sometimes it'll just come back as 2 over 5. But if you want the decimal, hit that button. So as a decimal, my answer is 0.4. And to write it as a percent, you multiply that number by 100. Because percentages are always out of 100. So take 0.4 and multiply it by 100, and you should get 40%. These are 3 different ways to write a probability. Okay. I'm going to skip that bottom question. Just skip that. Let's go to the next page. All right. The probability that something certain happens. So a certain is like it's 100% going to happen. So for example, if I were to put every single student's name in a bucket and randomly pick out a name, what is the probability that the student that I choose attends Pike High School? 100%, because everybody here attends Pike High School. So that would be the probability of a certain event is 1 or 100%. Again, if I put everybody's name in a hat, everybody who's sitting in this room right now, and I pull out a name, what's the probability that the student I pick out goes to Brownsburg High School right now? 0%. So an impossible event is 0, and something that is going to happen, no doubt about it, that's 1. All right, so we're going to skip over example 1. Let's go to example 2. Now we're going to look at our table. So looking at our table, it says Francesca asks a random sample of 140 upperclassmen at her high school whether they prefer to eat breakfast at home, and this should say or at school, not before school, or at school. Okay, so we got a 2-way table, meaning that we have totals going across and we have totals going vertically. So horizontal and vertical, we have totals. All right, how many people did she talk to? In total, how many students did she ask this question to? 140. So that means that's my denominator. 140. Out of that 140, how many of those 140 students were seniors? 73. That's the answer. That's my probability. For the next question, again, out of 140, how many of those 140 were juniors? 67. How many of those 140 students said that they eat breakfast at home? So now I'm going down the table. Juniors and seniors, that's horizontal. Breakfast, home, or at school, that's vertical. So how many of those 140 students said that they eat breakfast at home? 78. How many of those 140 students said they eat breakfast at school? 62. Any questions so far? We all together? Okay, nothing complicated? All right. Now, we got to talk about this symbol. What this is saying is and. That means and. So out of 140 students, how many eat breakfast at home and they are seniors? So if you were to highlight eat breakfast at home, that would be this column, and seniors. So looking at this table that I highlighted, what number is highlighted pink and blue? 23. There's 23 seniors who eat breakfast at home. So the answer would be 23 over 140. All right, now we're going to talk about juniors at school. Still over 140. So juniors, that's here. Breakfast at school, that's here. What number in the table is pink and blue? 12. 12 out of 140 are juniors that eat breakfast at school. Okay, now we're getting down to something. It's not hard, but we gotta lock in just a little bit. This right here, this line, when you see this line, that tells me I'm not looking at 140 people anymore. All right, what comes after the line tells me who I'm focusing on. So after the line is the word seniors, which means that I'm only looking at the seniors. So my total is out of seniors, not everybody, just seniors. So when I look at my table, this is all I'm looking at right here. None of this here is irrelevant. Now, when I look at the table, how many seniors did we talk to? 73. That is my new denominator. Out of the 73 seniors, how many said they eat breakfast at home? 23. So when you see this bar, that means that it is a condition. That's what this means. It's a condition. It's conditional. Okay? That's the only time we don't look at the whole total of people. All right, let's go to the next page. Let's do another practice question. All right, so now we're talking about a radio station that did a survey to determine what kind of music to play by taking a sample of middle school students, high school students, and college students. And they had to choose between hip hop, alternative, and classic rock. Okay, so now, how many people in total did they talk to for this survey? What's the total number of people they asked this question to? Right here, 165. Okay, Terencio, how many of those 165 students are from middle school? 60. Okay, Nakeem, how many of those 165 people said they like classic rock? 26. So this is asking me to go that way. That was the second question. The first question was asking me about this way. All right, now we have the upside down like a cup. Now, when you see this upside down like a cup, that means I'm looking for an overlap. It's still out of 165, but I want to know how many people said they like hip hop and they're in middle school. So that's where I'm going to highlight hip hop, middle school. What number did I double highlight? 38. Okay, now we got that line. So now I'm not looking at 165 people. What this is telling me, because this comes after the bar, only middle school. That's all I care about. I'm not looking at high school. I'm not looking at college. So I'm only focusing on this top row. How many people were in middle school? 60. That's my new denominator. Now it's over 60. Instead of 145, it's 60. Of those 60 middle school kids, how many said they like hip hop? 38. All right, now we got another overlap. This means college and alternative. I'm back to looking at everybody. So over 165. All right, college, alternative. So Tristan, what number did I highlight both times? What number did I highlight both times? 20. All right, so this is our first time doing an OR. So when we do an OR, so this is up like a cup. So this is OR. That means we have to do a formula. So here's my formula. I need to figure out how many college people plus alternative. And then I need to subtract from that the overlap. This is the only one that has a formula. So I'm about to go through it. Give me 1 second. So I'm going to highlight my table both ways again. So this time, oh, and it is out the total. It is out of 165. Was that what you asking me? Oh, okay. You talking about something? Okay, here. Well, let me get there. Okay, so college, that means I'm talking about this row right here. So how many total people were from college? So that would be 50. And I'm going to add to that. Now let me go the other direction. Alternative. That would be this direction. So I'm going to add to that 61. But I have to subtract the number that I highlighted pink and blue. What number in the table did I highlight pink and blue? 20. You have to subtract 20 because those 20 people are included in the 61 and they're also included in the 50. So that means you're counting these people twice if you don't subtract it. So in your calculator, take 50 plus 61 minus 20. I don't remember what you get. 91. Anybody else get 91? I don't have my answer key. Okay. 91, and it's over everybody, which is 165. All right. Now, this is up like a cup. So that means I need to add together all my middle school plus my classic, and I have to subtract the ones that are both. So let me look at my table again. So middle school, altogether I had 60 kids in middle school, and I had 26 that like classic rock. So we're going to add 60 plus 26 And what number did I highlight pink and blue? 4. You have to subtract the 4. So go ahead. Let me go ahead and zoom in. I know y'all probably can't see that. Go ahead and put that in your calculator. It's over 165. Whew, I wish I knew the answers. I should, right? But I don't. I'm sorry. You're ahead of me. What'd you get? 82? Anybody else get 82? So 82. All right, now this last one, does everyone see how it has a bar in it? That means that I'm not looking at 165 people. What people am I focusing on? People who what? What comes after the bar? Hip hop. So that's all I care about. Only hip hop. This is only hip hop. So looking at my table. Okay, let me see. Hip hop. Where's hip hop? Right here. All right. How many people altogether said they like hip hop? Only hip hop. I'm not looking at these rows at all. Don't care about it. Just that one. So in total, that is 78 students. Of those 78 kids, how many of those 78 kids are in high school? So of the 78 kids, how many are in high school? 24. All right, I want you to do number 4 by yourself. I'm going to come around and grade. Let's see how many of y'all really with me. Now we're talking about 450 kids that go to Westside High School. They were surveyed to figure out what piece of chain they like. So we asked freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors, and they had to tell if they like Pizza Hut, Papa John's, or Hot Box. So I want you to take a moment, answer all 9, and then we'll go through them together. Okay, this was actually not bad. Not bad at all. So let's go through it together. So, hot box. First of all, how many people did we talk to at Westside? What's the total number of students who we asked the question to? 450. Out of 450, how many said they like hot box the best? 158. Now this is an up like a cup. So this is a little different. We got to do some calculations here. So I need to add together how many are seniors. So that would be 115 plus how many said they like Pizza Hut, which is 125. But I need to subtract the kids that are seniors and they like Pizza Hut. So that's the 41. So when you do that, let's see, what did I get? 199 out of 450. That would be the answer I'm looking for. Come on, pen. Okay. All right. How many out of 450 said they like Papa John's? Jasmine, what did you write? How many like Papa John's? 167. Good job. Okay, now this is down like a frown. That's a overlap. So out of 450, how many are freshmen that like hot box? So freshmen that like hot box. What number did I highlight 2 times? 19. Out of those 450, how many were sophomores? So Mackenzie, what did you put for that one? How many are sophomores? 120. All right, now this is where people got a little tripped up. This means only hot box. So if I'm only looking at hot box, this is the only place I'm looking. We're not looking here, we're not looking here, we're not looking here. So I'm only looking at 158 people. Out of 158 people, how many are seniors? 40. For the second one, again, you look at what's after, not before. When I look after, that is only juniors. So this is the row I'm looking at right here, because that's what's after the bar. Only looking at the juniors. So if I'm only looking at the juniors, I'm not looking here, I'm not looking here, I'm not looking here. I'm only looking at 110 people. Your denominator has to be right to get full credit. So out of 110 people, how many said they like Pizza Hut? 23. Now this one is saying I flipped it. So now I'm not looking at juniors, I'm looking at the Pizza Hut people. So I need to look at it a different way. If I'm only looking at the Pizza Hut people, that means I'm only looking here. And I'm not looking here, here, and here. So my numerator is still 23, but now it's over what? 125. All right, this is up like a cup, so we got a formula. But this is up like a cup, so it's out of 450. So out of 450 people, how many are juniors? How many like Pizza Hut? And how many are juniors that like Pizza Hut? So these are my 3 numbers that I have to work with. So I'm taking 110 plus 125 minus 23. And I got 212. Anybody else get that? All right, out of the 9 questions, if you got at least 6 right, we're good. If you miss more than 3, be worried. So, homework 1.
The line like problem. So the one that's on the left side, that's the denominator.
The denominator, you pointing up but down.
So it's like the left.
Yes, after the ones that I have circled. So do you see how I circled hot box? That's my denominator. All right, homework 1 is due today. Make sure you get those turned in. If you have not turned it in yet, homework 2 is not due until Monday. So use this time to either work on homework 1 or homework 2.